So watching some speedruns here and there, I was looking at the different builds that people use, mostly to get a better grasp of what are the strongest skills for the weapons I like, and I noticed something interesting. Some people are running ambush in their builds. Basically what it does is it gives you a 15% attack bonus for 30 seconds after you ambush a monster. You know, ambush attacks are the special interaction that you can do when the monsters are unaware of you. And I thought, wait a second, unaware? Didn't people use smoke bombs to mess up Fatalis' aggro in Iceborne? Can this be done in Wilds? What if you could ambush monsters even after you have already engaged? Wouldn't this be huge for some weapons? So of course I had to test it, and wouldn't you know it, it works! Okay, maybe some of you don't think that this is a big deal, and at least for speedrunning purposes, maybe it's not really a huge thing, but I just think that it is so cool to find these little interactions between the mechanics of the game, and the thing is that for some weapons, this can be really appealing to pull off some nonsensical damage. The idea is simple. Instead of starting the fight with the ambush attack, you simply engage and choose a moment in the fight where you think you can get a lot of damage off, and then smoke bomb! In order for this to work, you have to make sure that you use the smoke bomb in between the monster's attacks. I've noticed that it also depends on the monster, but a general rule of thumb is that you want to look for an attack from the monster that has at least some commitment, and then when you throw the smoke bomb during their attack animation, they lose sight of you. So, what if I take a weapon that takes a bit of time to get ready to fight, like I don't know, Charge Blade for example, and I use this tactic when I have everything lined up to fight. And then, what if, for good measure, I added Item Prolonger to my build and used a Might Pill that usually lasts 20 seconds, but with Item Prolonger that turns into 30 seconds. Exactly the same amount of time that the ambush bonus lasts. I think this is genuinely an off-meta option for weapons that have this kind of warm-up phase before they can actually fight the monster. You know, Charge Blade, Longsword, Switch Axe and Insect Glaive, they all have to jump through some hoops before they can actually start to dish out punishment. Also, a lot of builds are using Gore Magala set, which also takes some time to activate. So what if you get all your resources ready to go and then pull out the smoke bomb? At this point I had to try this in a more serious environment, so I started doing some quests with Ray Dao and I actually started to pull some serious numbers. Like, this is no joke. Here's a comparison between the attack power that I have normally, the attack power with Might Pill, and then the ambush bonus added on top of that. Those are some crazy numbers. So I'm guessing that for those weapons that can do really high burst, but it requires some preparation, this could be an interesting approach. Like basically you get everything lined up and then go Super Saiyan for like half a minute. I also tried testing like how much you can get away with. And you can actually use some items during the window that you're hidden. I'm guessing you could do some nasty setups with things like pitfall traps and stuff. Or maybe even play around with things like Counter-Strike. Like, you place a bomb and then ambush and boom, you have all this attack power. Now, what are some limitations that I found? Well, first of all, it seems that you cannot ambush a monster more than once per hunt. Even when the smoke bomb does allow you to, like, hide, the ambush attack button does not show up again. It also doesn't work very well in multiplayer because, as I mentioned, monsters can only be ambushed once per hunt. However, thanks to some videos here and there, I've noticed that if you coordinate with your party, you can actually have many people doing the ambush attack at the same time. Again, if you plan, scheme and prepare, you can have a pretty good payoff from this. So anyway, just something that I found out the other day. I think it's pretty cool that Monster Hunter has these interactions, and I'd like to experiment and play around with things like these. Let me know if you found this interesting. Take a moment to do any of the things shown in the stickers, since I would really appreciate that, and as always, my name is Sun, and until next time.